June 20th, 1947, Beverly Hills, California. One bullet shattered a man's eye, and with it, brought down a legend. Benjamin Bugsy Siegel, the charismatic, psychopathic gangster, lay dead. But this wasn't just a simple hit. This was a message. A brutal, public execution that reverberated through the highest echelons of the American Mafia. It was the end of a visionary, a killer, and a man who dared to dream of a desert oasis filled with glittering vice. Bugsy Siegel wasn't just any mobster. He was the dazzling, dangerous architect of Las Vegas as we know it. But in the ruthless world of organized crime, even a visionary could be deemed expendable. Who ordered the hit on Bugsy Siegel? Was it a single act of betrayal, or the culmination of years of defiance against the very men who funded his dreams? To understand his violent end, we must first go back to his brutal beginnings and the unforgiving streets of New York. Benjamin Siegel was born in 1906 in the poverty-stricken Lower East Side of Manhattan. It was a crucible of crime, where survival often meant choosing a life outside the law. From a young age, Siegel displayed a volatile temper and a magnetic charm, a dangerous combination that would define his life. He quickly fell into petty crime, forming a friendship that would shape his entire career, with Meyer Lansky, a quiet, brilliant Jewish gangster. Together, they formed the Bugs and Meyer Mob, a ruthless street gang specializing in protection rackets, gambling, and hijacking. During Prohibition, their operations expanded dramatically. They became enforcers, intimidating rival gangs and ensuring the smooth flow of illegal alcohol. Siegel earned his infamous nickname Bugsy, slang for crazy, for his erratic, often terrifying bursts of violence. He hated the name, but it stuck. Their reputation for brutality and efficiency caught the attention of New York's burgeoning crime syndicates. Siegel and Lansky became instrumental in creating Murder Incorporated, the enforcement arm of the National Crime Syndicate, a group of contract killers responsible for hundreds of murders across the country. Bugsy Siegel was now operating at the highest levels of the American underworld, rubbing shoulders with legends like Lucky Luciano and Frank Costello. He was a trusted enforcer, a loyal associate, and a man whose ruthlessness was tempered by an undeniable flair for glamour. But New York was getting too hot. The heat from law enforcement, the constant turf wars, and the need for new opportunities began to push the syndicate to look westward. And Bugsy, with his charm and his killer instinct, was the perfect man for the job. How would this move transform him from a killer into a visionary? In the late 1930s, Bugsy Siegel was sent by the syndicate to California. His mission, expand their gambling operations, establish new rackets, and muscle in on the Hollywood movie industry. Siegel quickly fell in love with the West Coast. He was handsome, charming, and utterly captivated by the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. He mingled with movie stars, socialites, and studio executives, becoming a celebrity in his own right. But behind the dazzling facade, Siegel was busy. He consolidated the syndicate's gambling and prostitution rings, established a brutal enforcement arm, and even extorted movie studios. He was a dapper gangster, but a gangster nonetheless. However, it was in the desolate, untamed Nevada desert, just a short drive from Los Angeles, that Bugsy Siegel saw his true vision. A small, dusty railroad stop called Las Vegas. He saw not a wasteland, but a glittering oasis, a city built on legal gambling and endless entertainment. He convinced the syndicate, led by his old friend Meyer Lansky, to back his ambitious project, the Flamingo Hotel and Casino. It would be a monument to luxury, a glittering jewel in the desert, unlike anything America had ever seen. The initial budget was around $1 million. But Bugsy, with his extravagant tastes and his inability to cut corners, quickly ran into problems. The costs spiraled out of control, reaching an astonishing $6 million, an astronomical sum for the time. The syndicate, particularly Meyer Lansky, was growing increasingly nervous. Where was all the money going? Was Bugsy skimming? Was he simply incompetent? His lavish spending and missed deadlines infuriated his mob bosses. This wasn't just about money, it was about respect, control, and the unforgiving rules of the syndicate. What desperate measures would Bugsy take to keep his dream alive, and would it be enough to save him? On December 26, 1946, the Flamingo Hotel finally opened its doors. It was a spectacular sight, a beacon of luxury in the middle of nowhere. It promised a new era of sophisticated gambling and entertainment. But the opening was a disaster. Due to construction delays, many of the rooms weren't finished, the air conditioning failed, and the high roller guests couldn't fly in due to bad weather. Gamblers quickly lost money and left. The Flamingo closed just 2 weeks later, bleeding cash. Bugsy was frantic. He scrambled to secure more funds, promising the syndicate that he would make it work. He poured in more of his own money, but the hole was getting deeper. His personal life was equally chaotic. He was deeply involved with Virginia Hill, a glamorous, tempestuous socialite with her own criminal connections. She was as flamboyant as Bugsy, often spending his money as fast as he could make it. Against all odds, the Flamingo reopened in March 1947, and this time, it was a success. The casino was finally generating profits, showing the syndicate that Bugsy's vision was indeed viable. Bugsy Siegel was right. He had built the foundation for what would become the entertainment capital of the world. He proved that legal gambling in the desert was a goldmine, a place where the mob could launder vast sums of money and make legitimate fortunes. He was a visionary, a killer, and a charismatic leader. But even as the Flamingo began to prosper, the syndicate's patience had worn thin. Rumors of Bugsy skimming money from the construction fund, channeling millions into secret Swiss bank accounts with Virginia Hill, had reached the highest levels. A final, fatal meeting of the National Crime Syndicate was called in Havana, Cuba. The topic, Bugsy Siegel and the money he allegedly stole. The verdict, once it was delivered, would be swift, brutal, and utterly final. It was Meyer Lansky, Bugsy's lifelong friend and partner, who reportedly made the agonizing call. With the syndicate's blessing, he gave the order for his old friend to be executed. The alleged embezzlement was too great, the defiance too public. Loyalty only went so far when billions were at stake. Virginia Hill, always the astute observer, sensed the danger. Days before the hit, she boarded a flight to Europe, leaving Bugsy alone in their rented Beverly Hills mansion. Some believe she knew what was coming. On the night of June 20th, 1947, Bugsy Siegel was sitting in the living room of his mansion, reading a newspaper. He was relaxed, perhaps oblivious to the immediate danger. Outside, an unknown gunman, positioned just beyond a window, raised a military-issue M1 carbine. The silence of the Beverly Hills night was shattered by a single, deafening shot. The bullet struck Bugsy Siegel directly in the head, tearing through his eye and exiting the other side. Death was instantaneous. His reign, his vision, his life, all ended in a brutal, bloody mess. The murder was brazen, professional, and unsolved. No one was ever officially charged, a chilling testament to the power of the syndicate. The irony was brutal. The Flamingo, the very project that led to his demise, finally began to turn a substantial profit after his death. The syndicate quickly took over, reaping the rewards of Bugsy's vision. But what became of his grand dream, and the city he helped create? Bugsy Siegel's murder marked a turning point. It was a stark reminder of the unforgiving nature of the Mafia. But it also cleared the way for Las Vegas to truly flourish under syndicate control, evolving into the global entertainment mecca we know today. He is remembered as a complex figure, a ruthless killer with an unpredictable temper, but also a visionary entrepreneur whose daring dream literally built a city from the sand. His story is forever intertwined with the myth of Las Vegas itself. The spirit of Bugsy Siegel, the dangerous dreamer, still echoes in the neon-lit canyons of Las Vegas. His violent end a grim lesson: in the world of the mob, even brilliance and vision can't protect you from the ultimate betrayal. Some dreams, it seems, are built on blood.